Howdy folks, it's SenileSarge. Today we're going to play some Terra Nil. Best way to put this game, we're going to take a desolate area and we're going to turn it into something plush with, you know, animals and trees and grass and all those type of things. You guys will get an understanding of what it is. We're going to make this short and sweet because we just want to jump into the game. First thing it's going to want you to do is to kind of choose how we're going to approach this, right? And we got three main ones that we can work with here. We got the gardener, the ecologist, and then the environmental engineer. I can tell you for this playthrough, we're going to stick with the gardener. Makes it really easy. For those that have played strategy games like this before, you know, you could probably start with the ecologist, no issues. And I think for those that are just hardcore and you like, you know, getting punched in the face, then maybe the environmental engineer will be good for you. The main differences you'll see down here in the details, you'll see the changes that happen whenever I select these. So on this one, we're going to do, you know, it goes from starting resource, base building costs, and then contextual hints change. And then for the engineer, you have a little bit of change on the cost, but you're also, the tutorial is going to be turned off. For some, that'll be good. And last thing, the building unlock objectives. Like I said, we're going to start gardener. This is more for folks that maybe don't know what the game is or want some tips and tricks, as we'll go through some of that stuff as well. All right, here's our desolate little island here. Now, the first thing it tells you is like, hey, you can move your mouse by going to the edges of our screen, which we're doing here. We can also hit the middle mouse button and move around. And then we can use WASD to move the screen as well. Zooming in and out is obviously scrolling in and out on the mouse. That's pretty simple. And now we get to start to do our things. The first thing it wants us to do is place a turbine. You can see these provide electricity to nearby buildings. Anytime you're putting buildings down in this game, you have no choice but to put one of these down. Just know that green area, anything inside of that area would obviously have electricity once we start this process. Next thing that we want to work on is getting these scrubbers, right? These cleanse. So when you're looking at this area right now, right? So when we look at this, think of it like the desert has no water. It's not fertile soil. Like you're not growing anything on it. But now when I take these scrubbers and I put these inside of it, now these actually turn into fertile soil. So if I take these, you know, kind of put it in the four corners, you can move it a little bit if you want. For this episode, we're going to kind of follow pretty much through what they have here. So we'll kind of put it out here. You want to overlap it some, right? I mean, that's part of the reason that they gave us the where to put it like they did. And let's put it right there. Okay. And you definitely have some overlap. Okay. The next part of this is we're going to create an irrigator. And like anything, you guys know what irrigations are, right? You have the ability to basically water the ground and then make it grass. One thing to know is as you get later game, as you unlock some of the rain and stuff, rain will also do this for you. So you can rotate these by pressing R. I found also you can just do the middle mouse button as well. So you can do either way that you want. I like to do it like this. I'll rotate through best I can. Let's see how close we can get. Oh, okay. That one will work. I find less is more in this game often. Now you can do it other ways if you want, but we're going to do it like this. Okay. Now we've got a pretty good amount of grass, which we're looking good. The other really interesting part is if you start to get lost or you can't figure something out, you can always go up here to your handbook. So if we look up in the top left is basically your information hub. Most of the information is going to come from the top left, the top right here in a little bit, and then down at the bottom down here where you've got all the items. So up here in the top left, we know that we got 25% target greenery. This thing's asking us to hit 30%, and you'll see why here in a minute. You also have a handbook up here that we can go into, right? We talked about the handbook. It's got the regions in here. It's got buildings. It's got animals. It's got the index, and then you can obviously close it. And then you've got your options up here if for any reason that you need to go up there. Okay. Oh, we don't want to leave. I almost left the game. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is get this thing to 30%. We can see that. So we want to continue to fill this thing up, right? So we're going to continue to put these in place. Okay. Let's put that right there. And then we'll put another one right here. And again, you may miss a couple spots. Don't sweat it. Like don't get overwhelmed by the fact that you're like you feel like you're missing something or there's one little area that should have been green, like right there. Just don't even worry about it. Just kind of focus in on the priority of the game, which is getting as many of these as you can together and moving along. Okay, so let's get this here. And again, we're going to continue to put these toxin scrubbers down and interlace if I can. If I can't interlace, it's fine. You know, we're not gonna get upset because we didn't lay something out properly. It is what it is. Okay. And then now let's do this one up here up top. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll move this. And you can see the orange there in the middle. I'll kind of move that over so that they interlock. There we go. Okay. And then now all we need to really do is just kind of lay these out. I'll move this over. There we go. And bam. Now all of a sudden you see that the entire map's open. And again, this is the tutorial. This is not going to happen as you continue through the game. It's going to be a completely different process as you do the rest of the game. Ah, the music. Okay. So now we look up here. We're trying to get this to 100%, right? So we got 31% right now. We want to continue to push this up. I can also see down here that I need to reclaim 147 more greenery tiles. So you're going to know what you need to do either up here in the top left. There'll be some stuff up in the top right soon, and then down here at the bottom. So those are the ones we're kind of focused on. Okay, now I know what I really want to do up here, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some more spots up here, right? Let's try to encapsulate this as much as we can. So let's not worry about the greenery yet. Now you do need to watch up in the top up there. You'll see that the little leaf there is 1,513. If I just keep putting buildings down, I'm going to utilize all of them. What I can do though to replenish those is you would basically come in, and we don't want to do it yet because we want to try to get this in place, but I'll show you. So of course you went down again, right? Now if I come in here and I place that down, now you can see it goes back up. So just make sure that you're offsetting these and you're not just, spending money, but you're also doing the opposite. So that way you're making your money back. Okay, let's put this here. Put that one. Well, let's put it right about there. We'll throw this one down here. Okay, I'm going to move this one this way just a little bit. Now, I do know I'm going to put this one here. We're going to have a little bit of a gap down here in the bottom. There's not much I can do about it. Okay, let's rotate that over this way just a little bit. And that looks good right there. Okay. So now, again, I'm trying to get this. It looks like we've got most of it filled. We have opened up the water pump, which is good. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. Let's go ahead and get these put in place. Actually, let's do this bottom area here first. Okay, let's pop that. Let's spin this. Put that in place as well. We'll do the same thing up here. Actually, let's turn it this way. I wonder if we can... Yep, right there, like that. There we go. Yeah. So you can also do like an L, which is good because that's a much better kind of layout of what we wanted it to look like. Okay, we'll rotate back to this side. Let's go ahead and get these filled in down here. That one's good. I probably should go ahead and fill this in. So let's go ahead and fill this in the rest of the way real quick. There we go. That one goes there. Yeah, that one goes there. Okay. That way when I spin these, I'm not just like wasting it. So one of the other things you'll do, you'll see these right here. Like it just makes more sense for me to go ahead and put this down in place, fertilize it just in case. That way I'm not just wasting it. The other thing to know too is you can actually leave how that is right there. Kind of see how I'm one block away from where the river's going to be, because ultimately what's going to happen is when I come in here, right? Well, watch along the path there. See how the grass come in? So you can actually leave that spot there. You don't have to go all the way in, which is a really cool little addition there. Okay, so we've got this in here. Okay, we can't go up any further there. Looks like we can come down here as well. That should circle us all the way around, it looks like. It did. Okay, so we're in a good place. We just have this right here, this area. I'm not really sure why that didn't fill all the way in, but that's okay. I'm not going to get stressed about it. It would show you if it was going to. I would guesstimate that if I put this here, and then bam, there it is. Now we filled it in. So we've got that kind of filled in the way that we need it to. Okay. Since then, we obviously water pump, you just saw that's my ability. The water pump allows you to very quickly and easily fill in the water like you're seeing here on this side. The next thing that's open, because we're going to continue to do it, is the calcifier. So here's an example on this side. Other than right here, right, we don't have a lot of locations to put windmills, just as an example, right? So let's say I do put a windmill up here, right? And I come down here and I do the best I can to reach this side, but I see that there's a problem. What you can actually do is you can actually come in, place this down, And then now I can place that windmill. And then now I have the ability to correct that. So as you can see here, it'll actually push it out to where we want it to be. So that's what those are used for. You'll be using it. Understanding each one of the locations that you're going to be actually going to is going to look a little bit different each time. So they're not all going to have the same stuff on it. Okay, I can see my numbers are getting a little bit low up top. So what I want to do is go ahead and let's get this fixed back out a little bit. Let's do it like this first. Okay, come back here. Actually, let's do this. Let's put that there. Okay, we're at 100% now. So that first one, the first step of restoration, right? We want to get water, we want to get plant life, all that kind of started. We've done that. Now we're going to move into the next step, which is basically increasing the diversity of the growing plants. So the Fimbos, the wetlands, and the forest, those three areas is what we're focused on. So if you look up at the top now, what you're going to see is you have those three. And I think it's about 25% for each one of these. And then probably a 50%er here is what you're looking for. Or 33 per, something like that. So probably not doing my math correctly up here, but that's basically what you're looking for. So we need wetlands, we need this, and we need forest, right? So when I look down here at the bottom, you can see some stuff's opened up. Excavator, we're not worried about that right now, but we have the ability to now create wetlands. So a good example of a wetland, let's just find somewhere that would make sense to do that. Let's do, okay, there, I know we need that. Okay, so let's do this one right here. Right, so if I click that, this entire area now becomes one big wetland. So that's how easy it is to kind of create those. Now, we need probably another 2 of those to make it work. You have to have these to make it work appropriately. So I'm going to expand this out just a little bit further. And we're going to do that on purpose. Now, I see a tree over here. So we want to be cognizant of that because we're going to need that thing here in a second. And you will see why, hopefully. Let's see. Can we get another? We're not going to be able to probably sneak another one in here, are we? Well, we may be able to. All right, let me go ahead and get these put in place here. In fact, let's see if we can L that. Okay, we'll put that one there. And then let's expand this out here. There we go. Okay. All right, now the beehive, what we can do is we can come down, we can get the beehive, right? This is going to open up a really cool area. So this entire area now, as you can see, turns in. And then what we can do is we can take this and then we can turn this into kind of a three-pronger, right? We got wetlands and we have the beehive and flowers and everything else over there. So that's actually a pretty good area located over there. So the other thing we want to do is we want to go ahead. Let's put another, let's see if we got another beehive area. Yep, looks like we got an area here. We got an area here. So I do want to go ahead and get this figured out here first. Obviously forgot about this area a little bit earlier. Okay, there that is. And then bam, there that is. Okay. Much better. All right, so now let's go back here. Let's put this beehive here. And you can see the amount too, because there's so much space there. We got a huge amount on that one. Versus if I went somewhere that didn't have as much space, it wouldn't do as well. Like it would actually be a little bit worse. Okay, and let's see what else we have here. All right, let's put an area right here. Nice. Okay, one thing I do want to do up here, let's put this here. There we go. All right, so we've got that one completed. We need a little bit more wetlands, right? So let's look around, see what we have. We might as well make this other side wetland prone. You know, we might as well just do ourselves a favor. Let's just make this area over here exactly that, right? One big wetland. Oop. Okay, that one's in a little bit too far. We're not going to be able to push into that one, it seems. And then this one we can do. Okay. So that one will work there. Now you see we got 2 of those checked. Last one we need to do is a forest. Now the forest is a little bit more different. Now, one thing that I do know that we need to worry about, right, is we need to worry about animals. So it's not just as easy to come in and we're done. Yours is probably going to be closed because, again, like I said, I'd actually played this a little bit. So there's some stuff in here that I know that we're going to need. So like the bear needs a domain that's in forest, which contains a beehive and is on a hill. So there's some things here that I know that we're going to need that are going to be important. The one way that we can actually do that is now we know that we need to create 100 ashy nutrient tiles to unlock, right? So we need to burn some stuff down, basically, is what we need to do. Now, if you burn anything, it gets nasty pretty quickly. So we've got to figure out exactly how we want to burn stuff with, getting what we need out of it, but also not wrecking everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. We'll put this here. What I'm going to try to do is see if I can make this work by burning down this top area up here. See if we can hit what we need. Now, part of the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to be able to contain the fire, right? So making sure that you can contain the fire is very important. If I come over now, if you're an achievement hunter, you basically want to just let it burn across the entire map and you'll get an achievement for that. But for me, I just want to start the fire, big enough area I can control it. I don't want it spreading all over the map because I don't want to have to redo everything. So we're going to put this right here. Once you place that down, you just left click on it, and then we need to be into this area to start the fire, right? So we're going to click right there and we're going to let it go. Then you guys can watch it burn. Now, one of the things I didn't know early game, took me a couple times to play through to understand, but you'll see these items when they burn up, they actually leave a spot in them. That spot is what you need. And the reason that you need that is because you need it for this, right? So you need that ash to create the forest. If you don't have that, when you try to place these down, it won't work. So what we need is, we absolutely need those, and you'll see the forest now opens up. And then here we go. So now we have a kick butt location that has forest exactly the way we needed it. So that's kind of how that works. All right. So now if we look at this now, we still need a little bit more forest type. One thing that I see that I am missing here is I'm missing something next to the water that has a forest applied to it, right? So I can look here and see, okay, is there anything here I can do? We can also start the research center. So this reduces the cost of buildings. We're going to go ahead and put that in place. That's going to make things just a little bit easier for us. So let's put that over here. Right now I've learned basic restoration. You need to begin to address the regional climate, right? So now we're going to start the climate. Now, remember I told you earlier, right side of the screen is going to start to pop up. Now we've done pretty good with our little piece here. So we've knocked out the first couple, but you can see that what we're trying to do is get this humidity, which is up at the top, past these lines, right? So to get ferns on riverbanks, we got to be above 55%. Water lilies above 80%, salmon 90%, and then rain begins at about 70, right? But to get it to rain is a little bit different, and we need some additional stuff to do that. Okay, and then for us to be able to create greenery and watering, you can see that this is the ideal conditions, right? We want to be between 30 and 70. So if you look up here, we're between 30 and 70. So that's why we've been having a good go thus far. So anyway, so that helps. The next thing that we have is these cloud seeders, right? We want to really start to put these in place because we want to create an environment where it's going to rain on its own. And you remember earlier I told you about these blocks, not to worry about them because you don't really have to be overly concerned about them. And the reason why is because now we have the ability to put these in place, right? And then now with these in place, and you want to separate these, don't put them right on top of each other, right? But we want to start putting these in place because we now want the ability for a little bit better of rain. So we want to continue to push up that thing. We want to now seed the clouds to say, hey, bring lightning, bring all of that. But remember, you got to have kind of two things, right? We've got to have. So let's say over here, I don't have anything over here, right? So again, what I can do is you can go back, you can go to the calcifier, put that in place. Then I have the ability to come in and I can place this on top of it. But remember, you got to have power too. So in this case, I don't have power. We're going to add power. Then I can come back in. I can add the cedar and bam, there we go. Okay. So there we go. All right. So now we need to continue on with making our forest. Now, the one thing that I didn't show you earlier is the excavator, right? I think the excavator, you want to wait a little bit until you use these because they're so big when they're early game. So I like to use it a little bit later game. But for this case, really what we want to try to do here, we want to do the best that we can. See if we can do like that. And you'll see what I'm doing here in a second. I'm trying to block off an area because I want to put the forest, if possible, we want to put it down here, right? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this. If I hit that right there, I should be good right about there. Let's see if that works the way I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping it doesn't crash down the thing. Yep, that worked exactly the way I was hoping it would. And I don't think it'll, because that's there, I don't think it'll jump anywhere else, right? So now we can come in. We can then, again, place down. We've got to have somewhere to actually put this down, right? Right now we got 6 of 6 here. So we got a little bit of a problem. But what we can do is we can place it over here. Hit the target. And then hopefully it does not spread across the thing. So again, you're controlling the burn. We've got to have buildings on here, though. Remember that, because to put this area with the forest, you've got to have that, because those are the most fertile areas. So the thing I really want to do here is I would love to have a forest that is now touching these wetlands there. And now we've done it. And now you can see. Okay, so we got 2 of the biomes, 2 of the 3 now are completed. The last one, we got plant life. We've reestablished a climate. The final step now is to get our airship landed on the ground. And then now we want to introduce, animals. We want to get animals back into the ecosystem. At the same time, we want to start removing our buildings and getting them out of the way. Now, I know that all this is here. Probably unsure what to do with this stuff. You can, if you want, if you want to build it up before you just jump out of here and I'm out. You can absolutely come in here and just take a few minutes to put this stuff in place. I like to try to finish it up just a little bit. Nobody wants to leave anything unattended, if you will. Let's put this here. There you go. There's the water, goes all the way down. Okay. I feel much better about myself. Now you can see that these stay in place. So just remember, that's something that kind of happens. All right. So let's see what we have here. So we got the water lilies, blossom, and then we got the salmon run. So we got the 90 and then rain begins. Okay. Those are pretty easy. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to bring our airship in and we need to land that, right? So I want to put it next to water. The main reason why is because we're going to use that to basically send our little drone, if you will, out to then collect things. Okay. And that's going to be one of the big parts that we're going to be kind of focused on, is doing that. The other thing we need to make sure that we're kind of focused on is you want to go back through each one of these, make sure there's nothing that you've kind of left out, right? Is there anything that we have not done? We know where we're at right now. We need to recycle at least 10%. So we're going to go down. We're going to find an area. I recommend you find stuff that's away from the main area and then start recycling that as much as possible. So let's do this one. Let's do this one. And then let's do this one. There we go. Looking good. Okay, the other part that we have is now we have the ability to go ahead and craft ourselves a little motorboat here, right? And this thing, what it's going to do is going to travel along the river and it's going to collect things. And that's basically what we want it to do. So we've now got the opportunity to collect the things that we need. So we're going to take this, we can go down into this area here and you can actually go inside of these depending, right? As long as nothing's blocking it. But we can go inside of this area here. We can go inside of here. It'll tell you how far it'll let you go. Go inside of here. How far can we go in here? Okay, this right here is not connected. Yeah, so we didn't get that one very well. We can go in there. We can go in here. So you can see what we're doing. We're basically just trying to clear out as much of this stuff as we can. Okay, there we go. I don't think I can put a... Can I put water down before this thing comes? No. Yeah, so there's not much we can do about that in that area there. We're going to have to let that kind of continue. Okay, where's he going? He's going over here. So you can see him kind of driving, picking up the stuff as we kind of go along. Tearing it all down. Now, some of this stuff's still left out here, right? Like you've got this stuff here. So you do have to kind of work to pick stuff up, right? You're not gonna, like, we're not gonna have a choice. We're gonna have to get in here and kind of figure this out the best we can, because we've got a lot of stuff that needs to still be picked up. And we're at what, 50? Okay, the next thing that we got now, as you've started this, the one thing we want to really start working on is we want to start identifying some of the animals. Okay, so now that we've kind of done our part, now we have animals up here that we can start to identify, which is across the top here. So what I would recommend is, like, we're going to stop here for a second because we want to look. And you can read the descriptions here, and it's pretty easy to know what you've got to do. All right, we got to do at least 3 too. So 0, 3. We're going to try to do all 6, but 0, 3. Okay, so the first one's undiscovered. The grazer lives in herds on wide open grasslands. So I think wide open, they're probably going to be down here. And bam. Okay, we've met the criteria. So you can see the criteria in range of at least 20 greenery tiles. So we're good. You'll know that it's good because it'll show a picture of the animal. The next one, small amphibian lives in the reeds of a wetland near a fembus field. Okay, so right over here. So you can see that here's the 2 put together. Let's kind of touch on both. Bam, there you go. Okay, so 1 in range of at least 10 wetland tiles, and then 2 in range of at least 5. Now, if you click it and you're like too far over here, right? You see how there's yellow? It's gonna, that's just telling you need to replace it, right? So you need to have some of the fembus in along with the wetlands. So either way, we're good. The frog popped up. The next, this large coniform's domain is the forest, which contains a beehive and is on a hill. Now, here's the interesting part. We don't really have a beehive up here anywhere. So what we can do is we can come down here. We can find us a little location. I would do positive versus negative if you can. So there's one. 21, right? Put that in place. Now I can come up here. I can hit this and bam, there it is. And you can see the things we need. 20 forest tiles. On a hill, at least 20 tiles. And then in range of a beehive. Okay, next one, a web-footed waterfowl rests in a large lake when it is not flying. Now, large lake's always going to be the hardest part, in my opinion. Let's see if we get lucky. So you can see here, partially met in a lake. So we do not have a large area right now, which you can define as a lake, right? So this is the interesting thing. You have 2 options now at this point. Option 1 is that we man make a lake, which we would just basically start laying down these excavators, right? Start laying these things down. Obviously got to have power, but we can start laying these things down and try cutting this out as much as possible and then have a lake here. Option 2, we only need 3 animals, so we can just move on. And we could say, hey, we didn't do it this time. We'll remember it next time. And that's what we're going to do for at least this video. The next one, rodent builds its home on a river near a forest. So here's our forest over here next to the river. So let's check and see if we have something here. Okay, we've got in range of a river. Okay, so we got to, let's see if we get a little bit more of the river inside of it. Here, let's try that. There we go. Now we met it. So again, we just got to make sure, just move it sometimes and it's good enough. And then a final one, predator prowls in a forest near to a source of prey. So we know that there's prey. And if we're not sure, we can come back here, right, and just look. Is there any deer out here? There is. Okay. Now I go back here to the wolf. And I can kind of half it up. Half in, half out. There you go. There's timber wolf. So now we have range at least 15 forest tiles and range of deer. So very easy. And again, this part we could simply just cut. Part of me wants to just cut it up just to do it. Let me see if we can, let me see how difficult it'd be to cut it up for you. Let's put that right here. Let's put that there. Okay, throw that one there. Throw that one there. Throw that one there. And it just happens to, this thing just happens to be in an area, right, that allows for us to kind of create this interesting thing. Okay, and there's nothing else we can really do. Now, what we can do, because we want to get rid of some of those, I can do it like this without getting rid of that power pole. It'll take all of those, right? And then what I can do is I come back here Same thing. We need a little bit more. So let's put this here. I want to make sure that I have it there. And again, I'm trying to craft this lake because I want to see if we can make the lake the way that we need to. Perfect. Okay. So it looks like we're a little bit better of a spot now. So if I come back in here, I go to the webfoot waterfowl. I hit here. How about if we click out of there? There you go. Now we got it in a lake with at least 4 radius. So we now have goose inside of it. So we've got that 6 of 3. Really, we only had to do 3 of them, but we've actually done all 6. Okay, now once we've done all that, our next step is the 57%. We want to recycle everything, right? We want to get out of here. We want to leave this place better than how we found it. So now we're going to start going around and we're going to start picking up as much of this stuff as possible. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here. Back here is going to be a little bit of a problem, right? Because again, we've got to get back here to get this. Let's put one here. And then I think that should be pretty good. Everything else will be pretty easy. Rest of this stuff should not be a big deal. We should be able to get in here pretty quickly. So if I come in here and I just look, see how you can just take that down right there. Now, obviously we're going to have to do some work here because we're going to need to pick that back up, but I want to pick up as much of this stuff as I can real quick to make sure to see what all I need to spend some time breaking down. So let's do the bare minimum. Let's see how much of this stuff we can get. We can get that. Okay, we can get that. We cannot. Okay, now, I think there's probably, right here you have these pound locks, which basically allows you to go up into. I'm pretty sure that right there, you can see that there's some sort of waterfall there. So I think we may get lucky. Oh, we're just not getting lucky enough with that one. So I think we're going to get most of everything else minus that one, which is perfectly fine. Okay. While we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead. We're going to have to cut into this. So we're going to have no choice. We're going to have to put this back down, right? Push this there. Because now we've got to get inside of this thing. So let's put this here because we want the water to go that way. And then let's scroll back in a little bit after I get this. Actually, we can come over here just like this. There you go. And then we'll make it somewhat nice. That way it's not too bad. Right? Bam. All right. And then let me see if we can fill that water up the rest of the way, right? Make it look pleasantly nice. I don't think we do have something here. Okay, we'll get that in a second. All right, so now we'll come back in here. Let's go ahead and grab that first. And then let's even grab all of these at the same time. And we can. There you go. Okay, the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do this whole side over here as well. So let's put a little bit of power. I think you guys have kind of figured out what we have to do now. So we're going to push this here to move us across. And then I'm going to shoot one back down towards the direction here. I don't know how lucky we're going to get. Yeah, we can go right there. And then we will see how far we can take it. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to go all the way down. Well, but it did go all the way down, so that's good. So now we'll come back inside of here. We'll grab this. Can we grab all these at the same time? We can. Okay, and then we have one final spot that's left, which is up here along the top. So we're going to go ahead and shoot one. Unfortunately, oh, and we have this over here. So let's go ahead and get this too. Yep, that one should get that one. Okay. So the other thing we're gonna need to put power back here, because I'm gonna have to push this way into that area. There we go. Again, we'll put a little bit of water. You know, we want to make sure it's nice. And then we will follow it up with, there you go. And you can absolutely make this, you know, even better if you want. And if you look at top left, we got 100%. We got our humidity up to 69%, right? So we look at everything. The only things that we're missing right now is the water lilies and the salmon run. The main ways that we would do that is we would continue to grow this out, right? So we want to get that humidity up to above 80. Then that means that we need to continue to construct on this planet or this area to make it that, right? So we would continue to fill all of this out. But this is an example of really how fast it is to complete this game. It's loads of fun. You know, even this map, the maps do change. So if I came in here and I played this a second time, it would be dynamic and it wouldn't be the same, right? So it's going to change. It's going to look different the next time you come in here. Now, I've only gone through a couple of these. So the next one, the things do change. Like this one, we had particular animals. We have particular things that we could do. The next one, the next little area that we do has new things, new buildings. It has new areas, all of that you're going to be able to put in there. I hope that these tips and tricks actually helped you guys. You can see kind of how you build out the wastelands. You make it into a flourishing population of trees, plants, and of course, animals. If you guys enjoyed the video, please do me a favor, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, I cannot wait to see what the next game is. Very good game. I've absolutely enjoyed it. If you have any comments or any questions about the game, don't be shy to post it down in the comments. We'll see you on the next one. This is SenileSarge signing off.